The broken alliance. The stars were quiet. Commander Reyna sat alone in the dark control room of the UNS Valiant, a human warship floating near the edge of friendly space. She looked at the stars on the screen, feeling calm. For 5 years, there had been peace in the galaxy, but that peace was about to break. A red light blinked on the main console, a distress signal. Reyna stood quickly and tapped the controls. "Where is it coming from?" she asked. "Valari system," replied her pilot. "Lieutenant Cam." His voice was tense. "It's a priority code, emergency distress." Reyna's face went pale. The Valari were Earth's closest alien allies, a peaceful, kind race. They had no army, no warships. They trusted humans to protect them. She opened the message. The screen flickered, and then showed fire. Screaming. Valari cities were burning. Bright blue fire lit up the night. Buildings collapsed. Valari civilians ran through the streets. Soldiers in black armor chased them. A Valari elder appeared on screen, blood on his face. "We are under attack," he cried. "The Zarn have returned. They broke the treaty. They are wiping us out. Please help us. Earth, please." Then the screen went dark. For a few seconds, no one spoke. The silence was heavy. Reyna clenched her fists. The Zarn were a violent empire from the outer rim of the galaxy. 100 years ago, they tried to conquer Valari space. Earth had stopped them. A treaty was signed. Peace was made, now that peace was gone. "Send this to Earth Command," Reyna said. "Full transmission, high alert." Lieutenant Cam nodded and worked fast. Reyna turned to her team. "We made a promise," she said. "We told the Valari we'd protect them. We can't ignore this." Another signal came in. It was from a human diplomatic ship. Ambassador Lewis had been sent to Valari just a week ago to speak about trade. The screen showed his face. Then fire again. Zarn soldiers kicked. Down a metal door. The ambassador held his hands up. "I'm a neutral," he tried to say. A Zarn soldier raised a plasma spear and stabbed him through the chest. The signal ended. This time, the silence was louder. Reyna looked at the crew. No one moved. No one blinked. Even the ship's AI went quiet. They had just watched a human diplomat executed. Live. No warning. No mercy. Reyna spoke calmly, but her voice shook with rage. "Who does that?" she asked. "Who murders diplomats? Who attacks peaceful friends?" Cam answered quietly. "Someone who thinks humans are weak." Reyna stood straight. "Then let's remind them what Earth really is." Just then, another message arrived. It wasn't from the Valari. It was from the Zarn. It was short. A dark screen. A voice like a machine spoke. "You are next." Reyna stared at the message. Then she turned to her weapons officer. "Arm the ship. Prepare for emergency jump to Valari space. I want to be there in 6 hours." "But ma'am," the officer said, "that's outside our current patrol zone." Reyna looked him dead in the eye. "They attacked our friends. This isn't patrol anymore. This is justice." The crew got to work. Far away, on Earth, the High Council received the same messages. All of them. The burning cities, the dead ambassador, the Zarn's threat. And something ancient woke up. For centuries, Earth had hidden its real power. Humans had fought wars no other species could understand. They had survived extinction. They had rebuilt stronger. Now the galaxy would remember. Reyna watched as the stars blurred around her ship. The engines roared. They were jumping to Valari space. She stood in front of the main screen, silent. Behind her, soldiers checked weapons. Pilots ran simulations. Medics prepared supplies. No one needed orders now. Everyone had seen the truth. This wasn't just a fight. This was a message, and humanity was ready to answer. The ones who broke the sky, the stars, were bleeding. That's how it looked when the UNS Valiant dropped out of warp. Where once there had been 3 glowing moons above the Valari capital, now only one remained, and it was cracked, like a broken egg. Commander Reyna stared in silence as the viewscreen showed the planet below. Smoke covered half the sky. Blue. Fires spread across the forests. Cities were torn open like paper. Valari homes, delicate glass towers and floating gardens now looked like graves. But the worst part wasn't the damage. It was the silence. There were no distress calls anymore, no emergency signals. The planet was quiet. Too quiet. Status? Reyna asked. Lieutenant Cam was pale. No comms, no traffic. Orbital satellites. Gone. All of them. Reyna turned to her weapons officer. Scan for signs of life. He worked fast, tapping controls. Then he froze. Ma'am? I'm picking up movement, but it's not Valari, and it's not human. A black ship passed beneath them, not huge, but fast. It had no markings. Its engines burned red, leaving trails of radiation behind. Unlike human ships, it didn't move smoothly. It darted like an animal hunting. The Zarn, Reyna whispered, but the computer disagreed. Unknown signature, the AI said flatly. Reyna narrowed her eyes. Then who are they? Another ship appeared, then another. 10, 15. They circled above the Valari capital like vultures. They didn't attack the Valiant, not yet, but they were watching. They're not responding to hails, Cam said. It's like they're waiting. For what? Asked the weapons officer. No one answered. Reyna pointed to a nearby mountain. Set us down there. I want eyes on the ground. The Valiant landed on a high cliff, overlooking the ruined capital. A small team geared up, 5 soldiers, 1 medic, and Reyna herself. She wouldn't send others into danger unless she walked with them. As they stepped out onto the surface, the silence hit them like a wall. No birds, no wind, just ash in the air and broken buildings below. They moved through the ruins slowly. Reyna raised her hand to stop the group. She heard something, faint footsteps. Then, a whisper. This way. It was a child's voice. They followed it through a collapsed alley. Underneath a broken transport ship, they found a hole in the ground. An old Valari storage bunker. Inside were survivors. Maybe 15 Valari, dirty, shaking. Some were wounded. All were terrified. An elder stepped forward. His arm was broken, but he bowed when he saw Reyna's uniform. You came, he said. We promised, Reyna replied. The elder looked up at the ceiling. They came from nowhere, not from space, from under the planet. Tunnels, black ships, silent soldiers. Not the Zarn? Reyna asked. He shook his head. Worse. We called them the Skybreakers. They wear the faces of the dead. They do not speak. They do not stop. One of the Valari children clung to Reyna's leg. They ate the lights, she whispered. They broke the sky. Before Reyna could answer, her comms crackled. Commander, it was Cam, panicked. You need to get back now. There's movement, dozens of ships. They're surrounding us. The signal cut out. Reyna looked at the elder. Stay here, we'll draw them away. But the elder grabbed her arm. They're not here for us. The fury of Earth. The message went out in silence. Not through radio. Not through voice. Just 2 words. Fury Protocol. Every military AI on Earth lit up. Satellites turned. Hidden bases under the oceans woke up. Deep in the ice of Antarctica, weapons, older than any war, clicked into readiness. No speeches, no warnings. Earth had been hurt before, but this time it was different. This time, someone had broken the rules. Commander Reyna stood on the bridge of the Valiant as Earth's response system took control. Her crew watched with wide eyes as alerts spread across every screen. Ma'am, said Cam, his voice shaking. We just got full battle command. No clearance needed. We've been given... He swallowed. Everything. Reyna looked at the blinking code at the center of the display. It wasn't just authorization. It was revenge. Get me high command, she ordered. The admiral who appeared on screen didn't smile. He didn't blink. Commander Reyna, he said. You made contact with an entity calling itself the Old Flame? Yes, sir, she replied. It wasn't a first strike. It was a warning. They destroyed the Valari to scare us. Admiral leaned forward. They made a mistake, Reyna nodded. What are your orders? He looked her straight in the eye. Show them what Earth does when someone hurts our friends. The screen went dark. 20 minutes later, across Earth's colonies, ships launched in silence. Not small fighters, not scouts. These were Fury-class carriers. Massive, heavy, ugly, designed not for speed but for destruction. Each one carried thousands of soldiers, mechs, tanks, and weapons banned in half the galaxy. Above Luna, Earth's flagship, the UES Judgment, broke orbit. Its engines roared like thunder. Its hull shimmered with gravity plating. It had never lost a battle, never even been scratched, and now it had a destination, the home system of the Skybreakers. A system humans weren't supposed to know about, but Earth had known for years. Because long before the first attack, Earth's spies had found something. A shadow race building weapons in the dark. Earth had said nothing then, because Earth had been preparing. On board the Valiant, Reyna's ship had been upgraded in seconds. Drones were deployed. Hull plating thickened. Her crew received new neural syncs, fast enough to process battle commands. Before they could even speak, Reyna stepped into the war chamber. A 3D model of the enemy system hovered before her. 10 planets, 2 black stars. A moon covered in what looked like machine parts. The center, a massive ring structure. What is that? Asked Cam. The AI answered, unknown. Possibly a forge, possibly a god weapon, possibly both. Reyna didn't flinch, set course. Her fleet would arrive in hours, but the enemy knew. They were waiting. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the forge moon, a being stood watching Earth's ships draw near. It wasn't alive. Not in the way humans understood. It had no name, no face. Just will. And behind it, hundreds of black soldiers stood frozen. They wore armor made from crushed stars. No mouths. No eyes, just metal and death. A voice echoed inside the forge. The humans bring fury. Another voice answered, deeper and older. Then let them burn in it. Back aboard the Valiant, Reyna was alone in her cabin. She looked at a small hollow frame. It showed her and a Valari child, smiling. The girl had given her a crystal flower once, said it would protect her. Reyna still wore it hidden under her armor. She remembered the girl's last words before they left the ruined bunker. Don't let them break any more skies. Reyna clenched her fist. She stood up, walked back to the command deck, and opened comms to her entire fleet. All units, this is Commander Reyna of the Valiant. We are not just here to fight. We are not here for territory or pride. We are here because someone thought they could hurt our friends and walk away. A pause. They're wrong. She stared out the window. The forge moon was now in view, and for the first time, Earth's fury was not just a weapon. It was a promise. The battle for the Black Moon. The stars disappeared. Reyna stared at the screen in shock. The sky, once full of light, was now dark. Not from nightfall, not from shadow, but from ships, enemy ships. They poured out of the forge moon like insects from a broken hive. Thousands, maybe tens of thousands, each one sharp, black, and burning with cold blue fire. Cam gasped. They're not flying, they're swarming. The enemy ships didn't move like fleets, they twisted and spun, changing direction mid-air as if pulled by some invisible force. No patterns, no formation, just chaos, just death. Are those AI-controlled? One officer asked. No, Reyna replied, voice low. That's worse. The forge moon began to open, not with fire, with silence. Its outer shell cracked apart like a steel flower. Inside, glowing chains of red energy twisted through a machine so large it could crush a planet. And from the center, it rose. A single ship. No, not a ship. A creature. It had wings made of broken stars. Its body was shaped like a blade. And it was alive. The AI's voice cracked. Designation unknown. No data. Warning. Contact is not advised. Reyna stood up. Too late. Flashback. 6 years ago, secret base under Mars Earth scientists had found something. A warning buried deep in alien code. The Skybreakers were not just building weapons. They were trying to resurrect something. Something ancient. A weapon that had once killed stars. Earth's leaders had decided to keep it secret. Reyna had read the files. The weapon had a name in their ancient tongue. Zarthuan. It means the end that ends all. Back to the present. The Valiant shook violently. "We've been scanned," Cam shouted. "No," Reyna said. "We've been chosen." The Zarthuan began to move. It didn't fire missiles. It didn't need to. Every ship it looked at crashed. Systems shut down. Shields melted. Pilots screamed and disappeared. It was using sound. No, frequency. A weapon so pure, so old, that machines forgot how to fight. Reyna turned to her AI. "Block that signal." "We can't," it replied. "It's not being transmitted." "Then how?" "It's coming from inside our minds." Earth's fleet responded. Thousands of drones flew ahead. Ships launched plasma strikes, gravity warheads, anti-dark tech from Earth's deepest labs. The kind of weapons no one knew existed. Some worked. Most didn't. Ships crashed into the black wall of the Forge Moon's defense net. Mechs were torn apart mid-space. Even the Judgment, Earth's most powerful warship, took damage. But they kept coming. Reyna gritted her teeth. "Focus on that thing. If we take down Zarthuan, we break their control." Cam shook his head. "Ma'am, it's not controlling them." Reyna frowned. "What do you mean?" He looked up. "It's leading them." Meanwhile, inside the forge, Moon. A chamber opened deep within. Inside, a child stood, small, silver-skinned, with glowing eyes. No chains. Just silence. Behind her, machines kept humming. She looked up, watched the battle, watched Earth fight. She didn't speak, but her mind reached out. The humans came. Will they survive? Or will they burn like the others? Her eyes glowed brighter. She stepped forward and vanished. Back to the fleet. Suddenly, all enemy ships paused, just for 1 second. The battlefield went quiet. Reyna narrowed her eyes. "What is that?" The sensors screamed. "New contact," Cammy yelled. "It's small, single life form, moving fast, too fast." A beam of white light tore through 3 enemy ships, then 5 more. Then silence. The small object stopped. It was her, the child. She floated between Earth's fleet and the Forge Moon. No armor, no weapon, just watching. And then she spoke. Not with her mouth, with her mind. "Stop fighting. You don't know what you're waking up." Reyna stared. Was this a trick, or a warning? The Zarthuan turned. It looked at the child and paused. It didn't move. Didn't fire. Just watched her. The enemy ships behind it started to break formation. Like they were confused. Like they were afraid. Reyna leaned in. "What the hell is going on?" Voices of the dead. The stars turned red. At first they thought it was a trick of the sensors. A glitch. But no. Space itself had changed. Light warped. Shadows bent in the wrong directions. The child floated there alone, silent, her silver eyes glowing brighter than any sun. Her lips didn't move, but her voice echoed across every ship, every mind, every soul. "You are not meant to find this place. This moon is a tomb." Reyna gripped the edge of the command table. What does she mean? A tomb? But no one could answer, because then they heard them. The screams began soft, like whispers in a storm. Cam pressed his headset tighter. Picking up strange signals. Reyna turned to him. "Translate." "I can't. It's not in any known language." The AI spoke up. Negative. Signal is not data. It's emotion. Emotion? Reyna frowned. Yes. Pain. Grief. Rage. Suddenly, the crew began to panic. Officers fell to their knees, clutching their heads. A young pilot screamed. I can hear my mother. She died last year on Europa base. I hear her. She's begging me to turn back. Reyna's heart froze. Another soldier shouted, They're not real. It's a trick. Don't listen. But even he started shaking, because he heard his sister's voice. A sister who died in the first alien war. The Forge Moon spoke, not with words, but with presence. Ancient voices, millions of them, rose up, like waves. We were the first. We warned them. They opened the gate anyway. Reyna stood frozen. What gate? Flashback. Secret files from the Martian vaults years ago. Earth's deep explorers found writings etched into alien ruins, not machines. Not maps, warnings. A single repeated symbol burned into black stone, a circle split by a jagged line. The files said it represented a dimensional fault, a place where space was thin, where something older than time was sleeping, and the skybreakers had been trying to dig into it. Back in real time, back in dice. The Zarthuan began to scream. No weapons, no light, just a scream so deep it shook atoms. Ships cracked, stars dimmed, men wept. Reyna gritted her teeth. Fire everything at that thing. Now. Cam hesitated. But the child. Fire around her. Keep her alive if you can. But that monster. Kill it. Earth's fleet roared to life. Railguns, antimatter lances, dark pulse torpedoes all fired at once. The Zarthuan dodged some. Took others head-on, and then, for the first time, it bled. Black light sprayed across the sky. The monster screeched and the voices grew louder. You have wounded the key. Now the door will open. The Forge Moon cracked again. A second. Chamber opened. This one deeper, older. Inside was not metal. It was bone. A massive throne made of alien skeletons, fused together like coral. And sitting on it, something stirred. It wasn't alive, but it was dreaming, and its dream leaked into the world. Suddenly, Earth's Admiral Tovar, aboard the Judgment, began to convulse. He screamed, not from pain, but from knowing. They're inside my head. He gasped. He looked at his crew, but he didn't see them. He saw stars dying, entire galaxies eaten, civilizations melting into dust. He saw Earth burning. Then he spoke in a voice that wasn't his. She warned you. You should have let her die. And then, he turned his gun on himself. Reyna felt a wave of nausea. She stumbled back. The child turned toward her. Their eyes met. And in that moment, Reyna saw everything. The true war hadn't even started yet. The Skybreakers had tried to unlock a power older than their species. They'd failed, and now Earth had inherited the mess. Reyna fell to her knees. What are you? She whispered. The child spoke softly, a voice like snow in the dark. I was the seal. But now that you've wounded the key, I can't hold it shut anymore. Then came the storm. Space bent. The stars above the Forge Moon began to move, shift, twist. They weren't stars. They were eyes, watching, opening. Hungry, Reyna screamed, Get us out of here! But it was too late. The fleet was being pulled in, not by gravity, but by memory. Each pilot saw a loved one calling them. Each system showed fake safe zones. Every computer whispered lies, and the Zarthan smiled. It didn't have a face, but Reyna could feel it smiling. She who waits in the gate. The stars were gone. Reyna opened her eyes slowly, gasping for breath. All around her, the bridge was dark. Emergency lights flickered red. The crew, silent. Some unconscious, some shaking, others whispering to themselves, repeating the same words again and again. Don't look at the eyes. Don't look at the eyes. Reyna looked out the main window. No stars, no planets, just a deep, endless fog, shifting like smoke underwater. They weren't in normal space anymore. They had been pulled through, dragged through the gate. And now, something was watching them. Somewhere deep inside the ship, the child stood. Alone, silent, her silver eyes no longer glowing. She looked weak now, like a normal girl, pale, cold, but her voice still reached Reyna's mind. You broke the seal. Now she's awake. She remembers your kind. Reyna stood up slowly, her body aching. Her skin burned, her mind felt cracked. What is this place? She asked aloud. Cam, barely conscious, whispered beside her. Liminal space. The in-between. Reyna turned to him. What did you say? Cam's eyes rolled back. I saw her face. It was everywhere, but nowhere. Then he passed out again. The fog started to move. Not with wind, not with force. It moved with intention. Eyes opened in the darkness just for a second. Then gone. Hundreds, thousands, watching. One of the escort ships, the Proud Star, floated nearby. Without warning, its hull bent inward, crushed like paper. It didn't explode. It folded in a way no metal should, and then was gone. Not destroyed, just erased. Reyna stared in horror. No weapons, no warning, just gone. The child stepped forward, her voice cold. She doesn't need to fight. She only needs to remember. Flashback. The First War. Millennia ago, before Earth's rise, the Zarthuan ruled the stars. They found a black moon, far from any sun, hollow, ancient, and at its center was her, not a god, not a demon, just something that should not be awake. The Zarthuan called her Virex Tal Unra, the sleeper beyond all things. They tried to control her, use her power. They failed, and she destroyed entire galaxies in her sleep. The survivors built seals, locked her in memory, buried her behind the gate, but now, the humans had broken it. Present, the whispers began. At first, soft, then louder. Not from speakers, not from air, from inside their heads. Do you remember the burn? Do you remember the silence? I do. Reyna grabbed her gun and ran through the corridor, heading for the child. But the hallways were wrong. Stretched. Twisted. The same door kept repeating. Over and over. She was stuck in a loop. Until suddenly, the lights turned blue. Everything froze. Time itself paused, and then a woman appeared. She wasn't human. Too tall. Skin like glass. Veins of starlight. No mouth. But Reyna knew. This was her. She who waits in the gate. She didn't speak with words. She spoke in remembered pain. Reyna dropped to her knees, ears bleeding. Her heart raced, and in her mind, she saw Earth, cracked like an egg. Oceans, boiling. Children screaming in silence as reality folded. Reyna screamed, "Stop!" But the figure only leaned closer. You brought me back. You woke the hunger. And now, I will come home. Suddenly, Reyna woke up back on the bridge. Had it been a dream? Cam was still passed out. The crew looked terrified. The child stood in the middle, crying softly. It's too late, she whispered. She marked you. Reyna stood. What does she want? The child looked up with hollow eyes. She wants what she always wanted, to be remembered, to feel real. Reyna's voice broke. Is there any way to stop her? The child said nothing. Instead, she pointed out the window, and they saw it, a shape in the fog too big to measure. It moved like a shadow, but it wasn't behind anything. It was the shadow, and it was smiling. A voice filled the ship again. But this time, it was not whispering. It was singing, a lullaby, old, broken, in a language that didn't belong in any galaxy. Every crew member froze. Some began to cry. Others began to walk toward the airlocks. One even opened it. The last fire of Earth. The fog was no longer outside. It was inside the ship now. It crept through the vents, slithered along the floor, touched the walls like fingers. The crew didn't scream anymore. They didn't even speak. Some stared blankly, whispering old memories. Some had forgotten their own names. Others smiled as if they understood some dark joke. Reyna didn't smile. She stood in the command center, holding her weapon, body shaking. But not from fear, from rage. "She wants us broken," she said. "She feeds on it." The child sat in the center of the room, glowing faintly, hands in her lap. Reyna turned to her. "You said there was one way, that we let you die." The child nodded. Reyna whispered, "Why you?" The child looked up slowly. "Because I am her mirror. I was made to hold her back. But you opened the gate. And now, she's inside me." On Earth, panic had spread like fire. The sky had cracked open, twice. A beam of light, the kind satellites couldn't explain, had pierced the atmosphere above the Pacific. Tides changed, gravity bent, planes fell from the sky. The moon had begun to hum. The world knew it wasn't war. It was worse. It was something they couldn't name. And in deep space, humanity's most powerful ship, the Svalin, floated in silence, lost in the between inside it, and the final decision waited. Reyna stared at the girl. "This doesn't make sense," she said. "If you die, doesn't that set her free?" "No," the child said. "I am the echo she left behind. A lock, a delay. My end resets the gate." Reyna's heart pounded. "But you're a child." "I was," she said softly. "A long time ago, before I became the prison." Cam stirred on the floor behind them. He stood limping, coughing hard. "Captain, there has to be another way," he said. "There isn't," the girl said. "She's already looking through me." And then the lights died. A shape formed in the air above the command deck, not made of flesh, not made of light. It was made of remembrance. She who waits in the gate had arrived. Everyone froze. Time itself stopped again. Reyna could not move, could not breathe, but she could feel. She felt fire, oceans, loss. She felt the death of species. She felt the cold joy of something ancient and empty. "You came here to conquer," the voice said. "You brought your armies, your pride, your fury. But I am older than fury. And now, I bring you memory." The walls began to melt. The stars spun in reverse. Reyna screamed inside. Her mind. And the girl stood up, eyes glowing like two white suns. "Not yet," the girl said. "Not again." She raised her hands, and the fog stopped. She glowed brighter now, brighter than any light. And then, she burned. The scream was not human. It was everything. The gate cracked. The shadow tore like cloth. And she who waits let out a sound no ear should ever hear. Something between laughter, rage, and fear. Then, she was gone. The ship shook violently. Reyna fell. The fog vanished. The stars returned. But the girl, she stood still, her body like glass, fading from the inside out. Reyna crawled to her, grabbing her hand. "Wait, don't go," the child smiled. It worked. Her body turned to light. "Tell your people, don't open the gate again." And then, she was gone. Later, back on Earth. Reyna stood before the United World Council, battle-worn, eyes hollow. She didn't ask for medals. She didn't explain what she saw. She just said 5 words: "Don't forget what waits there." Earth rebuilt. The stars were quiet again, but some said they still heard a song on certain nights. When the sky shimmered the wrong color, some said it was just the wind. Others knew better. And Reyna? She kept watch. Above her bed, she hung a single, Line of code recovered from the ship. Do not opendo. Not call her name. Do not remember her.